A second. Yeah. Okay.
Might as well go play drums, right? Okay. What?
Might as well, yeah.
Water, right? It's something. 65 degrees in there. But turn the heat on?
No.
Why? I'll turn the heat on.
No. Nice. Okay, well, what's with everybody now? Where was everybody? I guess 7:30 wasn't a good time.
Oh my gosh.
We've been waiting for you.
This scared the garbage at me.
You said 7:30.
Yeah,
This had to
Harry's
make
got
noise like that.
spilkers.
I thought there was phone on the phone.
Sorry.
I literally thought there was someone's phone on the floor.
I know he came in today wearing them.
Who?
I don't know. Some kid. Are we waiting for a minion or we're not waiting for a minion?
Offer the guy a hot drink or something?
Why not? But you have to give him. You have to first have a half. You have to first have a hot drink to offer him.
We have coffee, we have tea.
I don't know.
Tea?
Do we have aqua?
Yeah.
Show him. Hey, that one's also gonna kill the tablecloth. Blow it out, please.
I already did.
This is my best one.
Well, I guess you have to buy another one. Probably gonna kill the table too. Here. The table is what we gotta worry about.
Oh boy.
We're gonna have to take the clock.
Gershon, what are you laughing, Gershon? What are you laughing? Put on these candles and they went all over the tablecloth.
No. Yeah, ready.
I don't care about this table, I keep it covered.
All right. Okay, so
Yeah. I'm not scratching it up.
we're on the bottom of Lamed Daled Amud Aleph, correct? Yes. Okay, we did the end of the yesterday's daf very fast, but okay, what are we gonna do? We're a minute behind actually now. So talk about Rishon Moshe Peshniya Kishtayim. If he blows one tkiya and then he holds, he lengthens it, so then it's as if it's two, right? Because what you do is you do a tkiya, a shvarim, and a tkiya, or tkiya true, a tkiya, or tkiya shvarim true, a tkiya, whatever it is, right? And then, so you're blowing sets. So instead of him blowing one tekiya and then taking a break and blowing another tekiya, he just decides to do one long tekiya, and then that will count as two. So we said it doesn't count as two, right? So I'm Rav Yoshman. Shama on Talmud Beis now, right? Lamed Daled Beis, the top. Shama teisha tekiyas b'teisha shoyis b'yoyim. If somebody heard 9 tekiyas at 9 different hours of the day, right? Now, obviously, Rashi points out that doesn't only mean tekiyas, it means true as two, right? So you heard it basically 9 different hours of the day, so then yotzi, you yotzi. Yeah, meaning, so what happened? He heard a tekiya, and then an hour later he heard a shvarim or a trua, and then an hour later he heard another tekiya, right? So even though there's a long time there, in between, you're still yotzi. Right? Now, yotzi is a lashon of b'diavad. Doesn't sound like you should do this on purpose, but if it happened, then you're yotzi. I was wondering. I don't always have this shaila, similar shaila. I don't know if there's any connection, but you're supposed to wash negovasa 8 times, 6 times, whichever amount of times, right? So let's say you got up in the morning and you washed just twice, right? And then for whatever you washed twice, you thought you're going back to sleep. You didn't bother with washing 6 times. When you get up and then you don't fall asleep, so you get up a half hour later. So do you have to wash 6 times now, or do you just wash 4? Because you already washed 2. Right? Meaning, do they have to be together, or can they be a l'chayra? I have no idea if this is a raya or not. Right? But this is a raya that it doesn't have to be right if you don't think that's you don't like my Torah. I don't know. It was just a thought.
What's the big deal? Right.
I know. And sometimes when it's cold in the winter, you want to use the
Yeah,
raspberry.
say, put on your face and it wakes you up.
You're right. You're right. I'm saying there are bigger issues in Klal Yisrael. I agree with you 100%. But, but I just wonder if this
Love it.
is the Uriah that you don't have to hear it. Okay, to me, anyways, it would be, see, if you heard tekiah, shvarim, tekiah together, and then an hour later you heard another tekiah, shvarim, tekiah, okay, that I really hear. That's not such a finish. Here, that's not what we're saying. You're hearing a tekiah, then you have a break, and you hear a shvarim, and then you have a break, and then you hear a shvarim. What exactly is connecting them? Right? Okay, but whatever. So he's saying it's yotzi. Tani Ami Hachi.
Wait, what? How are you learning this? What's shot here? Not like Rashi?
I was trying to slip it by you, Gershon.
Yeah.
L'chayra, it's tekiah, then a break, then shvarim, then a break, and then tekiah.
That's what Rashi means? True as
I think so.
I thought Rashi's saying, you hear a tekiah, true a tekiah. An hour later, you hear a tekiah, shvarim, tekiah. An hour later, you hear a tekiah, shvarim, true a tekiah. That's why it's Teisha. You have 3 sets.
I'm not sure. I don't know. Is that how it is? I don't see that's such a chiddush.
Otherwise, you need 18. You need 18.
Didn't we say Sirugin? Didn't we say Sirugin? It's okay.
But what's the chiddush if what Gershon's saying is what the Gemara is saying? Then what's the chiddush here?
Right.
Your yotzi with 9. Your yotzi with 9 photos anyway.
Right. Right. Unless it means that you need to hear. Unless it means that you need to hear 3. How does it go? You would need to hear 1 set from each one.
Oh, but this wouldn't be 1
3
set.
Sets. What?
Then it should have said 18. Teisha Tekiyas is 9 sets.
And Rashi says Tekiyas also means truest.
Yeah, so with a trua. It has to mean with. 9 sets makes you 30 kailas. You need 30 kailas to be yotzi.
Correct.
No,
So how does 9 come in?
D'oraisa, you only need 9.
Right. Really?
No, you need 30 kailas. Yeah, we don't know which the 9 are. So the Raisa we need.
Okay,
30.
but that's the question. Is this Gemara going with that Gemara or not? I'll be saying that it's not going with that Gemara. We're just doing that because we're Mesupik. Which Gemara was taught first?
Well, now that we're Mesupik, so it should be 12. You can't be yotzi the suffix without 12.
Good, but I'm saying the Gemara.
Well, all of a sudden, this guy knew which ones the Deraisa ones were, and he didn't tell anyone. It means the 30 kailas, and 9 sets of tekiyas.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I learned that it was in between each one, but okay, I don't know.
So, okay.
Okay, whatever it is, fine. Let's see. Tanya. If you heard 9 tekiyas at 9 hours of the day, yotzi yotzi. Now the next one is got a Machlokes Rashi Taisis. Mites b'nei adam ke'echad. If you heard from 9 people at once, lo yotzi. Now what does that mean? You heard 9 people blowing shofar at once. So we said, by trei koili loy mishtama. You don't, when you hear, I mean, the question with that is, Rashi says trei koili loy mishtama. Right? Meaning you don't hear multiple voices. If multiple voices daven at the same time, so it's as if you're not hearing any of them, right? So that's what Rashi says the kasha. What do you mean? We said by tekiah shofar, since you're concentrating on it so well, you will be able to differentiate between the voices, right? Okay, but that's the way some learn. Others learn that no, it's you're hearing the tekiyas from 9 different people, right?
They're all synchronized together, so it sounds
yes,
like
right, exactly. That's a perfect way of putting it. Yes, it's like it's a synchronized shofar. I don't know if any shuls have tried that one yet. right? It ought to sound interesting. One guy starts with a tekiah, right? And then another guy jumps in and he does a trua. Yeah. So that's that, and then it would be okay. That's the other pshat. I'm saying it's not okay. Sorry. Although there is a girsa that says yotzi. So that's that they both of those girsas play into each other, whether you're what the case is. Right? Tekiah mizeh, trua mizeh. Because then that sounds like the other case, right? If you heard a tekiah from this one and a trua from this one, yotzi is yotzi. But filu b'serugin. And even if he heard them not in a row, and even if it took a whole day, you're still going to be yotzi. Okay, so that's what it is. Bottom line is the tekiyas could be dragged out throughout the whole day, and you're going to be yotzi. So what I asked, did Rabbi Yochanan really say this? If Halal and Megillah, you had a pause in the Megillah or the Halal, and that pause took long enough that it would take you to finish the whole Halal or the Megillah, then that's considered a hefsek, and you go back. Right? Meaning, if you talk during Halal or Megillah, so then that's a hefsek. Right? But here we're talking about where you didn't talk, you just stayed quiet, so that's not a hefsek. But the halacha is that it is a hefsek if you wait long enough to finish the whole thing. Right? So that would be whatever, it depends where you're holding in the halal. Yeah, so if that's the case, so then if just being quiet can potentially be a suffix, a hefsek, I'm sorry, so then here too could be a hefsek. Right? If you're waiting long enough to be finishing all the tekiyas and you wait for longer than that, it should be a hefsek. So my answer is like, what's considered that long?
No, what's considered all the tekiyas? The 100? What's considered all the tekiyas?
That's
30,
a good question.
12?
I would think 30.
So if you wait for 5 minutes, it's finished.
Right. According
3
to that,
minutes.
Right.
30 coats, that was a take. I was never a makar, but how long does it take? 3 minutes.
Enochanami. You'd be right. Yeah, that's what I would think.
Rabbaran, depends how long you time the tekiyas. If you do it,
That's why I said I was never a makar.
Okay.
And I was never sweating like Yomi. So from either way, I don't. To Yomi, it feels like an eternity, but to me, it feels like nothing. No.
Yeah. That's true. That is true. But you got to get the Batekeh. Like we're having opposite exchanges. You got the first Gemara is the Batekeh is blowing 2 tekiyas, one long tekiyah trying to split it. You got this guy's dragging it along all day. Yeah, okay. We got all types. We got all types. But anyways, the Gemara says like Kasha Hadidei Hadirabe. One was his own shita, and one was his Rabbi's shita, right? Reb Shimon bar Yochai. Udidei Lai, and he does not hold this. That is not a hefsek. Rabbi was going behind Rabbi Yochanan Ravakari Kriya Shema, and he was reading Kriya Shema. But when he got to the streets that are dirty, he stopped and he was quiet because he held that you're not allowed to daven in the dirty streets. Busted the chalif. After they left, Amar Lei, he said to him, Ma'u ligmar, can I finish Shema now? Amar Lei, if the pause that you did while you were walking through the streets that smelled was longer than it would take to finish the whole Shema, then you have to go back to the beginning. So you see that he clearly held that it is a hefsek, even if you stayed quiet and you didn't say anything, but it's a hefsek. Yeah. So now there's a kasha on the stamazay. He's asking whether he could be hefsek, but he talked. He asked the question.
Well,
what are you saying? That's my main part of the.
Yeah, it's the halacha. You didn't know the halacha. Yeah,
that's
like,
that's actually, it's interesting that we have this. I imagine Rabbi Peres said a story of Rabbi Aaron Kotler's yotzi was last week. So he gives a shmooze a few days a week to the Bismer. So my son was there. So Rabbi Peres Lamaisa was Mishamish Rabbi Aaron Kotler. As wild as that is, he was. So when Rabbi Aaron was in the hospital, a doctor was supposed to, and Rabban didn't speak English, so Rabbi Per was his what do you call it? Translator, is in the Torgoman. So I was going to say interrogator, but I meant his translator, right? So they waited for the doctor, he said, and then finally they said it was becoming Zman Tefillah. So they decided to daven. Of course, they're in the middle of Birchas Kriya Shema, and in walks the doctor. Right? Now Rabbi Per didn't know what to do. He said he didn't know what to do.
So he asked Rabbi.
So he didn't. He stayed quiet, and he's supposed to be the one, translating. And the doctor was communicating with Rabbi. So Rabbi Per wasn't mafsik because he thought they were communicating very well. There was no reason for him to be mafsik. Then Rabbi Rebbetzin came in and said, "What happened after the davening?" And Rabbi turned to the Rebbetzin and said, "Yechiel didn't want to be mafsik, so I had to talk to the doctor. He didn't want to be mafsik." He said, "Ada Yom Hazeh." He feels terrible that he wasn't mafsik in the Birchas Kriya Shema. He said, "Mamish," he says, it makes him shake every time when he hears those words. That Rabbi said, "Yechiel didn't want to be mafsik," so I had to talk to the doctor. Whatever.
Well, we know, at least he's big enough, so sein gesund for Pierre, that he could say this story in public.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he would
He's
mind.
He's a big man, so sein gesund and stark.
Rabbi, you can't twist the mice and say if a guy needs a scotch or bourbon, you can ask him during Shema to help a yid out. That wouldn't be the same thing. Because you can't swap that part out.
Yeah. So whatever it is, this Gemara Mamash reminded me of this story here. So he didn't. Here he Grada asked. But anyways, so that's the kasha. So he says he did have this issue of waiting to take a long time. So Holy Karmalei, Ladidi, Lois said to me, I don't hold that you even were chayiv to stop reading Shema, because I hold that you were allowed to continue it even when you're walking through the streets. Just meaning, Rashi says that the Gemara in Bracha says, I wish I remembered it, that you just put your hand on top of your mouth, like it sort of blocks the smell from your mouth, and then you're allowed to continue. He says, according to me, I have no problem. But according to you, who holds that you're not allowed to talk, so according to you, if you waited long enough to be finished the whole Shema, then you have to go back to the beginning because it was too long. It was a hefsek. So really, he didn't hold it. He was saying it according to his opinion. Fine. So Tana Rabbanan, Tekiyas ain't ma'ak v'zu. Tekiyas are not ma'ak of each other. Right? Now, brachas ain't ma'ak v'zu, but brachas are not ma'ak of each other. Yeah? So now this is talking about fast days. The Gemara doesn't say what it's talking about. Rashi says that on fast days, which is the next Masechta, that when they had droughts, they made fast days. So on those fast days, the tekiyas were not ma'ak of each other. Meaning you're supposed to blow, but ubrachas ain't ma'ak. Meaning they had extra brachas also in Shemana Esrei. So but if you didn't do, and they did the shofar when they made the brachas, but if they didn't get along with each other, meaning if you didn't do the tekiyas when you made the brachas, or the brachas, you just blew and you did brachas, that's fine. Tekiyas ubrachas shel Rosh Hashanah v'Yom Kippurim ma'akas, but the tekiyas and brachas of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are ma'akas. Meaning Yom Kippur means Yom Kippur of Yomi, right? Meaning if you don't blow shofar together with the brachas, then that is ma'akas. My timer. Right? Why? So Amar Rabba, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Amar L'fanei Rosh Hashanah Malchis Zechronos V'Shoros. They say Imru L'fanei. Hashem is telling Klal Yisrael, say in front of me the psukim of Malchis and the psukim of Zechronos and the psukim of Shofros. Malchis Kadesh Tamlichuni Aleichem. Malchis is in order that you make me your king. Zechronos Kadesh Yaveh L'fanei Zechronchem L'Toiva. That you should be remembered for good in front of me. Uvameh. And with what? B'shofar. That's what you're supposed to do. So meaning the whole point of saying the Malchus and Zechronos is to do it together with the shofar. Right? So therefore it's ma'akev. If you say the brachos without the shofar, then that defeats the whole purpose. But on a tainus, it's not like that. The tainus is just extra brachos and also tekiyas. Okay, so Misha Berach ba'achakach nisman aloi shofar. So somebody made the brachos, which you already said for some reason the Gemara here keeps referring to the davening of Musaf as brachas, which it is. It's the 3 extra brachas we put into Musaf on Rosh Hashanah, right? That's the only Musaf of the year that we have 9 brachas. So Misha Berach V'achach Misman Alei Shofar, and then you get to Shofar, Tekeo Maria V'Tekeo. Then you just blow. You don't need brachas, right? So Taima Adolei Havalei Shofar Meikara. That's only because he didn't have a Shofar. Havalei Shofar Meikara. But if he had a Shofar, Ki Shamalahu, Asay the brachas Shamalahu, right? Then he has to hear them with the brachas, right? Yeah. So Shaz, what is this adding here? So it seems that this is talking about somebody who's davening alone on Rosh Hashanah. Right? Meaning, if before it was talking about if a person didn't have a shofar, he davened alone, so doesn't have to redaven. Here we're saying that, but if he had a shofar, then he should blow the shofar during when he was davening. That's what the next Gemara mashma like. Rav Papa bar Shmuel come l'tzluye. Rav Papa bar Shmuel got up to daven. Amar l'shameh, and he said to Hasham, "Kinehiralach, when I make a sign to you that I finished the bracha, takali, then blow for me." Amalei Rabba, loy amru ela b'chaver ear. So Rabba said no, that the only time you're supposed to blow shofar, that's where chaver ear literally means the friends of the city. That's meaning only by a tzibur do you blow with the brachas. When a person's davening alone, then you don't. Then you're not mafsik, right? Yeah.
You saw the Rashi on Ela B'Chaver ear?
Yeah.
Look at the last 4 words of Rashi.
Jaco, I was gonna say, is that a riot to blow shofar during the Shtilas Manesar?
Oh, so I think that's what it has to do with whether you're supposed to blow on the Shtilas Manesar or together with the tzibur. I think so. No, I mean it's just a matter of how you call it with the tzibur. Meaning only with the tzibur you're supposed to blow. So the question is Chazoras Hashatz with the tzibur or is the Shtilas Manesar with the tzibur? Those are the two. I think those are the two tzadim, which we'll see weiter. I hear you, Diak. Yes, that's very good, Gershon. I hear. Very good. Okay, so let's see weiter. Tani nami hachi, kishu shaiman. When he hears them, shaiman ala seder, you hear them you have to hear them in the order, right? Pal seder brachas. And with this order of the brachas, that's only with a minyan. Then you hear them in the order, but not in the order of them. Sorry, let's stop too early. You hear them, and you have to hear them in the proper order of the tkiyas, but doesn't have to be with the brachas. And a yachid who didn't blow the shofar, his friend could blow for him. But a yachid who didn't daven, his friend cannot make the brachas for him. Yeah? Why not? Because we know that you can't davening, you daven yourself. You can't have somebody be motzi with tefillah, which we're going to see on Amar Aleph exactly what this is, right? Meaning the tzibur is there to be motzi the people who don't know how to daven. But if you know how to daven, then you can't be yotzi with the shliyat tzibur. We'll see that more on Amar Aleph. Then it says, mitzvah b'toikin yosim and mevorchen. And it's a bigger mitzvah to go with shofar than to go with tefillah. Keitzad, how does that go? Shtei ayaros, you have 2 cities. V'achas toikin, uva'achas mevorchen. One, they have a shofar, but they don't have a minyan. Uva'achas, or they don't know how to daven. Uva'achas mevorchen. And one city, they're going to know they're going to daven with a tzibur, but they're not going to have a shofar. So holchen l'makom shetoikin, you go to the place that's toikin. Bein holchen l'makom shemevorchen, you don't go to the place that's davening. So when I ask, pshita hadaraisa hadarana, of course, tkiyah shofar is the daraisa, right? Tkiyah shofar is the daraisa. That tefillah is the rabbanon. So like tzricha da'afagav dahav vaday v'hasavik. No, even though one is a vaday, one is a suffix, you still go to the suffix, meaning the minyan is vaday. The shofar is a suffix, whether you really have the shofar. Still, you go with the suffix of the shofar, then a vaday of the minyan. That's the chiddush. Which the chayre, is this a raya, this Gemara, is this a raya that tefillah is the Rabban and not a deraisa, right? We know the famous Machlokes is Ramban and Rambam, where the tefillah is deraisa or not, right?
It's not saying tefillah, it's saying tefillah with a minyan.
What?
not saying
Well,
tefillah.
that's what
It's
we're
tefillah with a
talking
minion.
Tefillah with a minion is certainly not deraisa.
But that's what it's talking about here. It's not talking about tefillah. You can daven by
It's-
yourself. It's talking about tefillah with a minion or tekiah shofar.
What?
It's not talking about tefillah. It's not saying you can daven by yourself.
No, it seems like you can't because if you don't have a siddur, right?
So it's talking about davening totally or hearing tekiah
Yes,
shofar.
davening.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't
meaning
see- okay,
there's
that
going
I
to be a
didn't-
minion. No, you're right. There's going to be a minion there. That's what will enable him to daven.
Right, but
Either he doesn't know
I
how
take
to-
into the equation. He
either he
won't know how to
doesn't have-
daven. He won't-
No, either he doesn't know how to daven or he doesn't have a siddur. One of the two, right? But it could be that it's not a raya because we're talking about musaf here. Musaf is certainly a derabana, right? Musaf is certainly a derabana. The Machlokes is by shachris, musaf, mincha, ma'ariv, whatever, or one tefillah a day. But he's just talking about musaf, which unfortunately, a lot of women make this mistake, and they come to shul on Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and they daven musaf, and they don't daven shachris. It's wrong. Pashtus is it's wrong. Right? They should be daven. They're not, but women are potter from musaf according to most shitas, right? They have to daven shachris. So a woman comes late to shul, they should not daven. I mean, they should daven both if they can. I'm saying, well, they should, but they certainly shachris has priority over musaf, right? Okay, fine. Let's see. So just like Shir Tzibur Chayev, so too. Every yachid is chayiv to daven by themselves. So Tanya, right? Meaning there was a machlokes in the Mishnah whether you could be yotzi the davening of the shliach tzibur with the davening shliach tzibur or not. So now the Gemara just continues with the brisa that continues the argument of the Mishnah. Tanya, according to you, lama tzibur mismalin. According to you, why does the tzibur daven for? Meaning, if you're allowed to be yotzi with the shliach tzibur, so then why do you have a silent Shemona Esrei? Right? Why do you need a 20-minute Shemona Esrei, 25-minute Shemona Esrei first? If everybody could be yotzi with the shliach tzibur, just cut that out and just go with the shliach tzibur. Which is a fascinating teretz. The reason why we daven a quiet Shemona Esrei is so that the shliach tzibur will be able to, to put himself in order in order to understand the davening. That's why everybody in the shul has to daven Shemona Esrei because the shliach tzibur has to figure it out.
Why can't we cut out the Hineni?
I hear you. I hear. I don't know. It's a good point.
But the shliach tzibur is going to be saying Shemona Esrei twice, right?
What?
The shliach tzibur is saying Shemona Esrei twice. Once for himself and then for the tzibur. Why should he just cut out himself? If he's representing everyone, including himself, right? Then just say Shemona Esrei one time.
You mean it's a bracha levatala for him?
I know.
Is that what you say? Oh no, but he's the main guy that should daven twice. He gets the practice, right? He gets the practice. That he's the one. He gets. I don't know. The question is, why does everybody have to daven himself? Why don't you just let's make a 20-minute break. Everybody should go out and make kiddush. Let him daven his own Shemona Esrei. Practice. It's practice time for the chazzan, right? And everybody else.
Be careful what you suggest.
I don't know, but you're right. You're right. Why are we doing this? But okay.
Don't be insulted if you turn around and the place is empty.
Yeah, I get. But
one second.
According to the
he's talking to the wrong guy. He'll be elated. He's so happy.
Yeah. Yeah. So then Amalem Rabbi Gamliel Devrein according to you, Lama Shliach Tzibur Yared L'fnei Hashem. According to you, who says everybody has to daven themselves. So then why do we need shliach? Why do we need chazaras hashatz? No, we need to repeat it in case somebody doesn't know how to daven, right? So Amar Lamsi said to them, the same way he's motzi, somebody who doesn't know how to daven. It's an interesting terminology. Isn't that a very positive say? He's not a bucky, right? We don't want to say what the guy can't read, right? We're not saying that. No, he's not a bucky. He's not a bucky. It's a very nice term, which means he can't daven. Kach motzi is bucky, so he could also be motzi the bucky.
I thought it's
right?
for today's generation.
What do
A lot of people think they can read.
Okay, I hear, but with Art Scroll Mitsuda.
Even with Art Scroll, a lot of people can't read.
Okay, Anachanami, but so then those guys should listen to the Shliel Tzibur. Now there's an very interesting psak here. When you're from Ramosha, it's a famous psak, famous Machlokes Ramosha, pretty much against a lot of other psukim. If you daven Nusach Ashkenaz and you're davening in a Sfard shul, so which Shemona Esrei do you say? Do you say the silent Shemona Esrei of, again, you daven Ashkenaz, you're in a Sfard shul, you're the chazzan. Should you say Ashkenaz because that's your Nusach? Or do you go with this Gemara that says, well, the whole point of Shemona Esrei is to practice. So if you're there to practice, so then you got to daven Nusach Sfard so that you can have it Masuda, because you're going to be davening Chazaras Hashatas and Nusach Sfard. So most poskim can say, you daven Nusach Ashkenaz, because we don't paskin anyways like Rabbi Gamliel. Right? Ramosha says, no. L'chol Adayis, they hold that the reason why, even the Rabbanon hold that the reason why we daven Shtil Shemona Esrei is to prepare the chazzan. They just have a different machlokes whether you could also be yotzi the baki. So Ramosha says that when you're davening for the Amid, an Ashkenazi and a Nusach Sfard, or somebody that davens Sfard and Nusach Ashkenaz, based on this Gemara, he holds that they have to daven the style and Shemona Esrei of the Tzibur, the way the Tzibur is, because that's him preparing for the way they daven. You hear that, Naftali? So all your minyanim that you're running to,
I'm listening, man.
Okay.
I'm glad
saying
that,
it's according to Ramosha.
that's what I do anyways. You need it if you're switching, especially if you're switching. You need it.
Right. So there you go. So then that's yeah. They went out to Abba.
You're trying to create a heter to take a smartphone into a Hasidic shul?
Guys, what are you saying? Take a smart, why?
How on earth am I going to know all the different, if I run around different minyanim?
What does that have to do with a smartphone?
No, you can find any nusach on a smartphone. You try finding a siddur in a Hasidic shtibel.
Okay, but this is why I have my iPad with this cover, so when I go into Hasidic places, I could bring it in, right? There you go. It's very helpful, let me tell you. Anyways, okay, weiter. Amar Rabbi Bar Chana, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Moedem Chachamim to Rabbi Gamliel, the Chachamim moeded to Rabbi Gamliel, Rav Amar Adayin he machlokes, meaning the Chachamim ended up being moeded to Rabbi Gamliel, right? Which Rashi says after they had a machlokes, they went back and they changed their mind. Rav Amar Adayin he machlokes, and Rav says no, it's a machlokes. So now we have a machlokes whether it's a machlokes. So Shomer Reb Chia Berei Rabba Bar Nachmani, Reb Chia, the son of Rabba Nachmani, heard this, right? Azal Amr L'Shmaitze Kamedu Rav Dimi Bar Chinna, Amr Lei Hachi Amar Rabba Adayin he machlokes. Amr Lei Rabba Bar Chana Nami. Amar Lei Rabba Bar Chana Nami Hachi Kama. That's what Rabba Bar Chana also said. Amar Reb Yochanan LaHashmaitze Ifligala Reish Lakish Amr Adayin he machlokes. Okay, so we have a disagreement whether it's still a machlokes or not. Then they want to ask him, did Rabbi Yochanan really say this? That the Chacham are moeded to Rabbi Gamliel, but Amar Reb Chana Tzipura, Amar Rabbi Yochanan Hilchos Rabbi Gamliel. He says the halachas are right, Rabbi Gamliel. Hilchos Mechlal the Pligi. If he's saying the halachas are Rabbi Gamliel, then it must be that they're arguing. On Talmud Aleph now, Lamed Hey Amud Aleph. Yeah, so Ki Solik, Rabbi Amma, Meyame, when he came from the sea, right? Pirsha, he explained it. Ma'idem Chacham l'Rabbi Gamliel, bebrachas shal Rosh Hashanah v'shal Yom Kippur. He's Maida, the Chacham Maida Rabbi Gamliel by the brachas of Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. The halacha mechlal the pligi, and the halacha is mechlal. They disagree. The brachas the Chol Hashanah. That's by the brachas of all year round, right? Meaning that in the brachas of all year round, you cannot be yotzi. Chachamim are still, meaning they're maida by Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, which we're going to see where it's difficult to know the words. That there you're allowed to be yotzi, but during the whole year round, you're not going to be.
A few minutes ago, I tried to call you.
Doctor, you want to mute it, please? I can't mute. There you go. Okay. Someone says, Aini, it's not true, right? He says the halacha is like Rabbi Gamliel, but the brachas of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So you see they argue by both. Who's maidim? Remeir, it's Remeir who's maidim. And we'll be saying that halacha is Rabbi Gamliel. So then, who's the halacha that we like? Rabbanon. That's like Rabbanon, right? The Tanya, because we learned in the Brayse, the brachas of Rosh Hashanah v'Yom Kippur. The brachas of Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, Shliach Tzibur motzi harabim nefevasan. The Shliach Tzibur is motzi harabim. Divrei Remeir. Chamarim kishem shliach tzibur chayiv kach kol yachid v'yachid chayiv. Just like the shliach tzibur is chayiv, so everybody is chayiv, right? So basically, we have like this. We have three shitas. That's what comes out here. You have those that hold that the tzibur can never, anybody that knows how to daven can never be yotzi, not during the week, not during the year, and not for Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. Then you have those like Rabbi Gamliel who holds that they could always be yotzi the shliach tzibur. And then you have the shita that says we differentiate between all year round and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. That all year round you can't be yotzi, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur you can be yotzi. So Gemara says, now, Maishnahani, what's the difference between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and everything else? If because there's so many psukim, so people are not going to remember all the psukim. As long as you say that it says in the Torah, then you don't need to say the psukim anymore, right? So that's okay. So let's just finish the Gemara first. So then the Gemara says, no, because they are brachas. There's a lot of brachas. So since there's a lot of brachas, it's very difficult for people to they're long brachas, and people make mistakes easily. So therefore they can be potter. Now, what is this with Sarasla Kasav Lamer? Right? So Rashi doesn't learn it's going on the psukim Malchis, Zecharias, and Shofars. Rashi learns it's going on the karbanos. Seems like Rashi learning it's going on the karbanos of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. It's not going on the psukim, right? But then he brings that the shitas that holds it's also going on the psukim, right? Which, by the way, is the way we paskin. It's fairly common. Sometimes somebody asks, he said the wrong musaf, right, or the wrong karbanos, right? On Sukkot, it's quite confusing by the musaf, right? You read the wrong day. It's bouncing back and forth. Yom Shlishi, Revi, Shli, back and forth. Or, Rosh Chodesh that falls out on Shabbos, you end up saying the wrong Shemon Esrei. Bottom line is, as long as you say the psukim, which I think is in every musaf, as far as I remember, Nasev and Nakar Lefanecha, Kemitzas Ritzaynecha, as long as you say those words, Nasev and Nakar Lefanecha, Kemitzas Ritzaynecha, that's enough. Because all you're saying, you're davening musaf, and you're saying, they brought the karbanos like you said, like you wanted to do. So you didn't describe the karbanos correctly, that's fine. As long as you said those words, that's enough. As long as you said those words, that would be enough. Okay, now we just get to the end here. So Gufa, as long as you say v'sarascha, then that's enough. That's only when you're davening alone. But if the chazzan says v'sarascha kasav leimar and then leaves out the rest, which I think he'll get rehired for the next year, right? He leaves out the rest of Chazar Zashat, but the Gemara says no, that doesn't work for the Shliach Tzibur. It works for a Yachid, not the Shliach Tzibur. So Itmar, Amar Rabbi Shua Levi, Echad Yachid Echad Tzibur, whether it's the Yachid or it's the Tzibur. Kivin Shomer V'Sarascha Kasav Leimar, Shuv Nitzarich, he doesn't need it anymore. Yeah, fine. Amar Rabbi Lazar.
This lashon is mashma lechatchila. Shuv Nitzarich, he doesn't need. Not just if he doesn't say it, he's yotzi.
Why? I thought that was mashma b'diavad. If he did it, shuv nitzarich.
Everyone says those words. It was sirascha kasav leimar. As soon as he says it, nitzarich doesn't need it anymore.
I know. Okay, so I was wondering that if he only said it was sirascha kasav leimar,
then you can't say shuv nitzarich.
What?
Then the words shuv nitzarich don't work.
I hear.
Should have said yotzi. This is much more lechatchila. These are my rhyme. I'm learning lechatchila.
Okay, maybe.
It's over.
I hear, maybe. Okay, but I don't know. I thought it means Try it. You know what? Try it. See what happens. You're bound to get a good reaction. So Gemara says, okay. Yeah, so I'm Rabbi Lazar. A person should put his tefillas in order and then daven. Meaning, don't just turn to the page right before Shemona Esrei. Right? You should know what you're saying. Amar Rav Abba, Mistavra Milsa de Rabbi Lazar. It makes sense. But bracha shel Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur shel Prakim. For Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and Prakim. But the Chol Hashanah, but Chol Hashanah, you don't need to do that because you know what Shemona Esrei is like. Right? Yeah. So I mean, saying I think
it's interesting. I would say fakert.
Why?
But he's saying every day you should know.
No, you do know. That's what he's saying, but you do know.
That's what he's saying.
No, but you should make it your point to know it and understand it.
No, that's true. He's not saying understanding. He's just making sure you know what to say. So that during the week, see, but that's an interesting thing. I know what you're saying. Meaning, a lot of people, what they do is they'll start Shemona Esrei, and then when it comes on Yom Tif, they'll start flipping a middle of Shemona Esrei to the back, right? That's incorrect. You should be
into the extra stuff, the alchet stuff.
Correct. Whatever. You start your regular Shemona Esrei in the Shabbos siddur. If you have a siddur, you start with the Shabbos, and you say, "Oh, I gotta go to Rosh Chodesh, or I gotta go to Musaf," and then you skip. That's not what you should be doing. It should be put there before, right? And then, of course, like I heard somebody once say, is like, I can't use the art scroll. It doesn't help me the English machzorim on Yom Tif. Because there's not enough time. Yeah, the art scrolls are meant to be used before. You sit down with it and you go through the davening before, and that's the real beauty of it. Not during Shemona Esrei. I think even some say you're not even supposed to make like that during the Shemona Esrei. You should have it masudar in your head before. Okay, so Gemara says, "Eini v'harav Yehuda mesadet tzlusa yomatzli." Right, Rabbi Yehuda was mesader his davening, and then he davened, meaning he put it all in order. Right, a very interesting teretz. Shani Rabbi Yehuda came into mitlasin yomim havamatzli. He only davened once every 30 days. So kiprokim dami to him, it wasn't so mesuder. Right, meaning because with the Gemara in Brachos does say that if somebody tayrasa yumnasai, then that means that he doesn't have to daven. The taka doesn't have to daven. We obviously don't have anybody that nowadays. But if theoretically you were like that, then you wouldn't have to daven. Okay. So another fascinating psak. He said, now again, why are they out in the fields on Rosh Hashanah? I don't know. Right? Or maybe it's even during davening time. Maybe it's not only Rosh Hashanah. It's always. It can be during the week too.
Pshat was that Suach Basada, no?
Yeah, I don't know, but then they don't need him, right? Then they don't need him, right? But he's saying, Rabbi Gamliel says that the chazzan is motzi everybody, right? Even those guys that don't make it to shul. The Gemara says, right? Meaning it sounds like you don't, and goes without saying that the people that are in the shul, he's motzi, which is Rabbi Gamliel.
Why didn't we do something with this with COVID?
Because we don't paskin like this, but that's what Rabbi Gamliel is saying. It would be great, Naftali. You could do a rotation. Stay home. It says in the fields. It doesn't say the guys are in bed. That it doesn't say. Right. So it says Adara Bahani Anisi. It should be the opposite.
Jacob, I have a neighbor who tells me all the time. He just opens up the window and he's good to go.
It's true. Right. So he says Adara Bahani Anisi. The ones that are in the field are Einsim. Hani Loya Anisi. But these other ones, they're not Einsim. Right, so he should only be motzi the people that are in the fields, not the ones that are in shul. Right, the Tani Abba Breder Rabbi Yamin Barchia, Am Shachari Kehanim, the people that are standing behind the Kehanim, Einan Bechlal Bracha, are not part of the bracha. Meaning, the ones that are standing behind the Kehanim Baduchin are not part of the bracha because get in front of the Kehanim. Right, the people that are in the fields are included in the bracha of the Kehanim because they were Einsim. Right, but these other guys. You're in the shul. Get in front of him. Get in front of the Kehanim. Right? So, okay, the teretz will wait for tomorrow so we can make the siyum tomorrow. Right? That's
very good.
Because tomorrow we'll do the siyum and then we'll do the daf. And then I don't know whatever.
Yeah, we're starting the new Masechta tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night. Jack, we got back power. Are you good?
Kata Pehar, yep, Baruch Hashem. I enjoyed
Right.
it. I enjoyed the lack of electric, but yeah.
I saw them working on it a little while ago.
Yeah. Parrots, thanks for the prizes.
Yeah, no problem. You saw that
All right.
tree came down in front of your house.
Tree?
Why do you think you lost power?
Yeah, Gersten's
No, it was
tree
no-
is
What tree?
the tree
When did it
right in
come
front of Gersten's house is on his front yard.
when did that happen? That must have just happened.
Just as Zoltan, maybe he backed into it.
Oh, that could be. That could be. All right, I got to run. Parrots, the other shares at
It's
9
Yagir.
o'clock.
Aaron, what time tomorrow?
What time
night?
is the other share? What time is my son wants to know? What time is your muktzah share?
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock.
No,
I
okay.
thought that's
Aaron,
for
what
I thought
time
that's for women,
tomorrow
no?
night?
Okay,
Oh,
but
but
you know,
anybody could sign in.
everyone can sign in.
Aaron, what time tomorrow night?
8:15 in Mitzvah Hashem. 8:15.
What are we doing? We're making the siyum, then we're having the suda, and then the nush, then tainus. What do we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, I
It's
got to
the
run,
Yagir.
Gershon. Yeah,
the
well,
Yagir.
Byron, you feel okay?
1 second. It's mamish what we're doing.
Sure.
Go
But
ahead.
Byron, first we got to do
Rashi
Tinus,
says-
and then we can have the Suda.
Yeah, I know, parents. I took you so long.
Rashi
to
says
say
on
that,
30
like,
days. Rashi doesn't say terasa yamasa.
Well, you
Rashi
leave
was
room for
saying
Dr. Zakharowitz
Shas
to
every
make that
30 days.
special joke.
There you go.
He's not coming. He has a family affair. Parents, a family affair, parents.
So,
He doesn't say-
Aaron, why are we starting so late?
Yaakov has a chasana.
I have a chazzan in Jersey, so I got to run
Mazel
back. So
tov.
I don't want to make
Fine,
everybody wait.
Fine, wonderful. Very
All right.
nice.
Okay.
It's
He says not to
everybody.
Rasul Nasa. It has to be to Rasul, no?
Good night.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't bring that as the reason. He says Shahayim Mechazer Talmudei Kol Shleishim Yoyim. He made a siyum every 30 days. We're about to make a
Right.
siyum tomorrow. I'm saying that's what he says. He made a siyum
I
every 30
imagine
days.
if he made a siyum on the whole Torah every 30 days, he was pretty busy.
No, Avada he was terasa yamasa. Saying the fact that Rashi points out he made a siyum is interesting.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Fine. Good
Good
enough.
luck. Yashikaya.
Good luck.